Hello everybody, and welcome back to a tutorial video on Alpha 9 Rimworld. A couple of my buddies decided to get into the game, so they're jumping in at a very interesting point in Rimworld Alpha. Back before it was all easy to learn everything, now it's super difficult, so I told them I would help them out, give them some tutorial videos. This is going to be broken up into probably maybe 20 to 30 minute video parts, just going over the basics so that you can learn how to play Rimworld if you're new coming in here with all the interesting things. I do not have any mods activated. All my mods currently are off. I'll do a tutorial video on that later on to show you how to do the mod. It's very simple, as you can see here. The only one I have active is the core mod, which is all the core content for Rimworld, and as you can see, I have a huge list of mods. Do not recommend getting into mods until you understand the game better. So the first thing you're going to want to do is create a world. Size, I usually do 400 by 300. It doesn't affect your gameplay at all. It just gives you a bigger world to choose from. Randomize a seed. Generate. A little bit here. As you can see here, you will have this entire map, the name of the world. Over here you have mode, and it says full. You can do a breakdown by biomes, so you only specifically see the biomes. Elevation, so you see the elevation of the maps. It's also an easier way to see where the enemy factions are. Here you can see faction base, the Rocket, Jackals, Pirate Band. Here you can go to rainfall, see where there's little rainfall, a lot of rainfall. Here you can see temperature, specifically where it's cold, hot, mild, in between. I usually go with full. It's nice to have both, plus it's the easiest way to see these. Now as you can see here, when you're clicking in, the cyan is the tundra, the darkish blue is the boreal forest, the greens are temperate forest, the dark green is tropical rainforest. You have the, I want to say brownish is the shrublands, then the light brown is the deserts. If you can zoom in, you can see here, over here is the information for the area. You can click I. It doesn't really give you anything. Even if you click on mountains and such, it's not, it's going to just tell you about the biome you're in. But you can see the coordinates, the elevation, the average temperature for January, July, the biome you're in, the terrain, the rainfall in, I believe that's millimeters. Would it be millimeters for rain? Might be something different. Milliliters? No, that'd be ml. Then you got your stone types that you would come across on here, and the growing periods for crops. And you can change around and see. Now, you can change this so it's not Fahrenheit. You can have it to Celsius. You can also have it to Kelvin. I just go with Fahrenheit because I'm American and I don't quite, over here, learn the Celsius, stuff like that. I tend to go right now to learn. I use the tropical rainforest because it is growing period year-round. You don't have to worry about stockpiling for winter and stuff. You can see the temperatures, the average temperature, the elevation. I usually go with mountains. As you can see here, you get one little thing is usually a mountain, two, it's also mountains, but it can always sometimes be different. Then you have kind of flat, is usually small hills, sometimes medium hills, or large hills, sorry. I try to find a nice place that has a average temperature that's above 60, so your people stay warm. Then I try to keep it below 90 so they don't get heat stroke. So, mountains, I'm gonna say, okay, here it is, try and remember, okay, it's on this island, these are coordinates. Let's see if I can remember. Okay, it's that one right there. Save and finish. And you go to create a new colony, and you have your AI story. Now with your AI story, you have 3 different storytellers, and they're all different. Cassandra Classic, she gives you a story events like eclipses, raids, psychic signals, stuff like that, on an increasing curve. So it starts out easy and gets harder the longer you survive, and you can also change it here as well. If you look, builder mode, when you get threats, they're only 5% as large as normal. casual is 30, rough is 60. I believe rough is in between where you're supposed to play at, where it's just normal size for events. I'm not sure. I don't even actually know if you even need to click these. I think... No, you actually, yeah, you do need to click one of these. And then here you can go to Extreme Challenge, which is 160% of normal. So if on normal, in one event, you would get 2 raiders. On Extreme Challenge, it will increase from 2 raiders by an additional 160%, so you would get maybe 6 or 7 with different guns. Phobia is basically just a nice time between disasters where you can just relax, you can build, you don't have to worry about it. If you turn it up, it's still going to be hard because even though you have the events more spaced out, they're going to be harder. They're going to have better weapons, they're going to come with bigger numbers. It's going to be hard. Then you have who I like to call the jerk, Randy Random. He follows no rules, always random, no matter what. You can be in the game for 5 minutes, starting at your colony, get your first event, and it could be a raid of like 13 people with sniper rifles and stuff. Doesn't happen too often, but I've had it happen. Literally, my game ended within 5 minutes of me starting. It was annoying, but it's also a nice challenge once you get used to the game. This is usually what I go with, and I go with rough or casual. And you can scroll over it, it'll tell you, you know, this would be 100% as large as in challenge mode, 130% as large as in challenge mode, 160% as large. So it seems like this is normal, and then everything else is either less or increased. I don't know. I kind of wish that they had it different, like they had casual, normal, hard, stuff like that, but it is what it is. So for the sake of just doing it, we're going to do this. As you can see, I have other worlds, but we made Naos IX. So we're going to go there. Let it load in. And scroll around with the arrow keys, and you can zoom in with the mouse wheel. So we're going to go down. I believe it was this one. Doesn't really matter. Then here you can click advance. You can see here you have your different map sizes. You have starting month, you can change if you like. My birthday is in March, and we are in March, so I'm going to choose March. And here you can see about the size of the maps. Now I have a really good computer. I just bought $700. Now here they say this is not tested, it will definitely cause issues. I play with around, I believe last time I checked it was 46 mods. My graphics are set to good, and I have no issues, so don't know. Now you get to the most, I don't want to say the most confusing part. I think like the health and other things are most confusing. I say this is maybe the second or third most confusing for when you first start. You have your backstory, you have what you're incapable of, the traits, and the skills. You also have your age, and now they have chronological age. So we're going to break it down here for you. You have your name. Now, right here in the middle is what your character is actually known as. You have your first and last name, but this is your identifier. So, one second. Sorry, buddy who's actually wants to learn was asking me a question about Rimworld. So you have your 3 people you start with. You always start with 3, unless you get mods. You can change how many you start with. Kind of cheaty, but it is what it is. Now you can die of old age. As you get older, you will have old people issues. I don't want to say old people issues because I mean you can even get it young, but usually as your characters progress, they get more things like bad backs, cataracts, stuff like that, and kind of life experience, you know, to get scars and stuff. You get your skills over here and you can scroll over it and it'll tell you. So basically your backstory is how you grew up as a child, as adulthood. They give you a little story and it will either increase or decrease certain skills, allow you to be capable and incapable of things. So because of his adult as a mid-world chef, it shows cleaning, hauling, and plant cutting is disabled. As you'll see here, dumb labor and cleaning. I don't know why dumb labor is for cleaning and hauling, or not cleaning and hauling, plant cutting and hauling. It makes no sense. I figured they would only have their own, but it is what it is. So, as you can see here, he also has traits. Now these traits will affect you. Some don't do anything, they just kinda have something there. They don't, as you can see here, mental break threshold -9, so he's harder to have a mental breakdown. Hard worker, he works 15% faster, and then abrasive just says he's tends to rub people the wrong way. Doesn't actually really do anything to my knowledge. Then you have all these here. In my opinion, when I choose my people, I try to focus on certain skills. Growing, research, shooting, medicine. In my opinion, those are by far the most important skills for you to focus on. As you can see here, you have skills that have nothing, and then you see a little flame. If I can find it, then you'll see double flame. What this means is that when you go to learn something, you are learning at 0.3 times the speed you would of doing that thing. So if he researches, he's only learning 0.3 rate. If he has a interest in it, he learns at 1 times the rate. If he has 2, he's learning at 1.5. So what I try to do is find someone, by hitting randomize, I try to keep them below the age of 40, kind of midway, so that way they might have some issues, but it's not too bad. Try to find them that they're not incapable of anything or anything that's really bad, and I try to find them with good traits. This is kind of annoying because you need to have clothing. Nudist doesn't say it does anything, but it actually does do something. As you can see here, excuse me. It says he can handle clothing but will be happier without it. So if you put clothing on him, he'll be upset. Trigger happy is shooting's -2, aiming time -50%, shooting accuracy -50%, so you don't want that. Now, as you can see here, he's just basically going to be, like, if I just want him to be researching, because that's really good. Learning 1.5 times 11, that's amazing. I would actually keep that just to have him for researching. The other skills don't really matter because when you have a researcher, that's all they do. They don't really do anything else besides eat. If you need them, they can get into combat, shoot if need be, they can rescue people. But for the most part, I just usually just leave one guy to research, and that's all he does until I'm researched out. Then I have 2 other people to mess with. So I think, okay, well, I have my researcher. Now what do I need? Okay, well, I need someone that's good at shooting, at least for my defenses. If he can be good at other things, awesome. Okay, so, whoops. Okay, didn't change anything. Sweet. Or did it? No, it did. So, let's see. Rimworld. Oh, melee. No, that's not good enough. Melee, in my opinion, is just terrible. I don't really enjoy it, so... Oh, wow. So I backed this game back when it was in Kickstarter. Just a quick little history here thing. And I actually got my name in the game. This is actually my real name. This is one I put in. My first, my last name, my nickname. That will randomly appear, which is pretty cool. So shooting is 6. Not the best, but he has a 2 times burning passion for it, so he'll learn quick. That's amazing. I'll keep that. Has a decent social for Warden, which is good. That takes care of your prisoners. Then you have construction, which is 2 times, so that's good. He'll learn construction fast, and also a passion for mining, which is good. So he has a crafting of 5, which is good if you have mods, because I like crafting my weapons and stuff with the mods, so having a higher crafting is good. So you look, he's incapable of intellectual or artistic, so you look up here, okay, he can't research, can't do art. Okay, construction -2, that kind of stinks, but whatever. Research 3, social 3, that's good. So, I'm pretty sure if you look at these, they actually say social +3, but I don't believe they're actually affected in this outcome with skill, but I might be wrong. You look down here, traits. Avoids alcohol and drugs. Well, that's good. Rubs people the wrong way, but unfortunately he moves slower, but that's fine. No big deal. So we have our defense. So now we have a grower. We have medicine. That's 4. I can see here he has the burning passion, but medicine is extremely, extremely, extremely important. I cannot emphasize how important this is. Extremely. If that makes my point clear. you get injured very often. If you do not treat yourself well, you have a chance of getting infection. You will die from an infection, especially if you have a poor medic. He may treat it, but you may not recover from it, and it'll just keep getting worse and worse no matter what your medic does. Eventually, you can die. If you lose a person in the beginning, and you get down to 2, it is very hard to recover from. It is very hard to get people to join your colony randomly. It is hard to fight people and get them to actually just pass out from their wounds and not bleed to death on you or die from shooting them. So I try to find somebody with at least 6 medicine if I can. So this person, let's see, and this is what takes the most part of just kind of skipping. Okay, so here we go. Oh, 84. No, not happening. That was good stats, but I'm sorry, cannot do it. No, no. Okay, 51. Really good research. That's really, really good. And medicine. That is amazing. Plus good at crafting, which I can use. Okay, so we'll stick with this guy, even though 50, I mean, it's just a choice. Kind of having older people kind of stinks, but I can deal with that. So I don't actually know what age they really do die at. I do know that apparently it does happen at some point. So we have our defense, we have our researcher, we also have our medic. Now, just because it's a researcher, you don't need medicine unless you're injured, so that's good. So now this person can basically focus on growing and any other amazing skills. 26, awesome, and capable of caring, social. So that's good. So minus 50 psychic sensitivity, that's cool. Growing plus 2. So good at mining, good at shooting, good at melee, and good at growing. That's awesome. That's really good. So once you have your people set up, you can change your names if you want. So like, let's just see here. I want to change this person's name. Let's see. Jim Thompson, and his nickname is Jimmy. As you can see here, it changed. Now you'll see their nickname, what they'll be identified as in-game as well. They're not known as their first name. Then you also see what they're considered for their adulthood job, I would say. So, as an adult, he was a cleric of some kind, civil servant, scientist, Navy scientist, miner, deep space miner. So, hit start, generating map. This takes a little bit, but Okay. Welcome back, folks. Sorry about that. I actually had my game crash, which was odd. So here you can see a little story. I'm not gonna bother about that right now. You can pause it, read that if you want, or whatever. So when you start out, you land on the planet, and you have a bunch of resources to start. So just gonna go quick. Architect, you can click on here. You can see your tabs. Over here you can see your pause, your start, your 2x speed, your 3x speed, the outdoor temperature, the weather, the date. If you hover over it, it'll tell you how many days have passed since you arrived, the current season, how many days are in the month. Here you can see, you can toggle categorize mode on the resource readout. Here, when you add new constructions, it'll automatically add a home region. I usually toggle that off. This is the beauty display. This will show you beauty, where it is, seen by the character, depending on where you're looking. It gives you positive or negative. Kind of helpful, I guess. And this will toggle display of your zones. Here you have an overview of different things. Here you have your research screen where you'll research stuff. Then here you have your menu to go back. You can check out the different links over here, the wiki, the forums, his design book, the blog, forums, the primer. I'm not sure anything about that, but you can save, load colony, change your options in here, keyboard configurations, choose your language, your save data folder. You can check to see if you want this to run in the background. So if you want to go look something up, you can click that. Alt-tab will keep running while you're doing something. Scroll, edge, mouse wheel, pause and load. This is where you would change from like your different temperatures. This is where you can go into cheat mode, melt mode, and how long it auto saves. This, I guess apparently you can change mid-game your person to make it more difficult if you want. I don't know, I've never actually done that. That's new. Full screen, custom cursor, your graphics quality, and you can adjust the game volume and sound and such. So that's gonna basically wrap up my first video to basically start and get you to this point. I'm gonna fight with the second video here. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch